Let's create a bilingual / multilingual version of this web agency site that I have here. Created in WordPress. This is a starter site from the Blocksy theme. It's a free one and you can install it either in Gutenberg or in Elementor. If you want to know more about Blocksy, follow the link in the description below. We also have a few videos here on websites for beginners. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and wherever you are, JP here. And we are looking in this series at the various apps on the market that you can use to translate your page or create a multilingual page. And they're all very different. The oldest one in the bag is called Polylang. And Polylang is within the WordPress repository. You can download it for free. And then there's also a pro version. But we're going to be working with the free one. Look at what it can do. And it's magnificent set of limitations that you have to be aware of before you even consider installing this on your website. The reason I like Polylang is sentimental. It was one of the very first plugins I used to create a bilingual website. Let's go into WordPress and we go to the WordPress repository, select Add New, and search for Polylang. And if you didn't know, poly means more than one, and lang probably languages. Here we go, 700,000 active installations. Blows my mind, absolutely. Activate, and then we're going to go through a setup process. Before we get there, why I'm going to sound very critical of Polylang, and it's because my expectations aren't aligned with what Polylang does. Polylang is not what I expect when I create a website in this modern time, and that is I create a page in language A and then I want a duplicate page in language B. My expectation is that these two pages are mirrors but just with different languages, and that is very hard to achieve in Polylang and very exclusively hard to maintain 100% mirror pages. But what Polylang is very good at as a free plugin and can help you is what I refer to a content switcher manager or a language content switcher manager. A lot of words I just string together there. Let's set it up and then I'll tell you more about it. First, add the language your site is in, and I'll put it in English. And even though I'm in South Africa, I'm going to put it on English Great Britain so we can have a different flag. To select it, you have to click here on Add New Language, and then I'll add one more, which is my mother tongue, Afrikaans, and click on Add New Language. Click on Continue. Next is going to ask you, do you want Polylang to translate your media? And for this one, go ahead and say yes. Click on Continue. And then the language to be assigned, this is the language that's going to be the current pages you have. Mine is in English. So click on Continue. And then what do we have here? Home page. You define this page as your static home page home. It's the language for your site to work correctly. This page must be translated in all available languages. No option here, right? So go ahead and click on Continue. And then you have the last little bit of information. Tells you can go read tutorials they have on it, as well as you can upgrade to Polylang Pro. And if you're done, we click here at the bottom, return to dashboard. Let's clean up here, say dismiss. And then they also give you the option here. You've just upgraded to the latest version of Polylang. The latest? Oh, latest, yes. Would you like to automatically translate your website for free? Click on Activate Lingotech to start translating. We're not going to work with Lingotech now, so let's close that one. In the navigation sidebar on the left, you will see we have a new label now for languages. Let's select that just so you have an idea of what's going on over here. You can add new languages and you will see that the two we've set up appear here on the right. You also have string translations where you will go ahead and look at the strings, which usually are that bits and pieces of text not on your actual page, maybe in your header or there's somewhere else in a widget. This is where your strings come in. And you come in here and you make those manual translations. For example, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see that our tagline for WordPress is this, just another WordPress site. And then over here, you will change it net nog under WordPress site, thuisblad, ruimte, I don't know, and save changes. You go through all of these. If you have more widgets, if you have more plugins that bring text strings, they will appear here and you will have to come and change them here under string translations. Options under settings include how you want the page and your site to behave when people come and visit you. You have settings here for your URL modifications. For example, how will your website address look when somebody clicks on the other language? How will the slug look? And that's also something included in the Pro feature. Then you have here detect browser language. If my browser is set to German or Spanish, when somebody comes to visit my site and my site has Spanish and German as options for alternate languages, and their browser by default is set to German, then the German version will appear. Somebody who comes with a Spanish setting for their browser, the Spanish version will appear. Let's leave all of these and go to the most important feature of Polylang. That's not the translation, it's not the pages, actually it's the language switcher in your menu. Select Appearance and we go to Menus. And by default, you are not going to find the language switcher. You have to go up here to Screen Options, select all the way to the left and activate Language Switcher. Let's close that and you will see Language Switcher appears over here. Select it, click on Languages and add Menu. And then in your menu, you go and open it and you have all these options how it will display. You display the language names, so it will say English, Afrikaans. If you want flags, let's activate that so we have a visual cue while we do this video. Forces link to front, hides the current language. So if you have many languages and your page is in English, English will not be an option. Let's leave this one off for now, though I like to leave this one on and then take out flags, then people only have the option to choose the alternate language. And then hides languages with no translation. Let's save our menu and go have a look on the front end. And then you will see it says Afrikaans here. What Polylang does, let's jump right into the back again. Go to Pages. And you'll see we have all the pages. But for our home page, Polylang has created a second page called Afrikaans. So it registers, I've got an English home page and an Afrikaans one. Observe these little flags here that you see on the left for the English and for the right. And the little pencil shows you that you can edit them. So they are assigned. Go back to the front because important to note that this is my home page and I have the option to go to Afrikaans. If I click on the Afrikaans, you'll see that now things have changed drastically. Now I don't have all those pages, I don't have any content, and basically I don't have a menu because you have to go and create a menu as well. Let's go back to WordPress so we can just go through all of this. Go to Appearance, Menus, and create the Afrikaans menu first. Edit your menu below or create a new menu, yes. And we call this Menu Afrikaans. And we assign it Header Menu 1 Afrikaans. Create. And then under Pages, View All, you're going to put in your home for your Afrikaans, which is currently the only one we have. We'll bring in the others later, as well as the language switcher. And then go to language switcher again and say, display flags, hides the current language. Let's leave it. Save. And now we should have a menu for the Afrikaans one as well. Go to the front end. Here we have our home page. And this one tells us we can go to Afrikaans. And when I select Afrikaans, now you see, yes, I have my page here. No content yet. We'll work on that soon. Up here, we have the link for this page. And then we have English and Afrikaans because I did not deactivate show only English. If I click on English, it takes me back to the English version. Because there are no alternate translated pages for services, about, blog, and contact, when you go to the Afrikaans version, that is the reason why you do not see those pages appear. As we create them, they will appear up there. This in Afrikaans will be Tuisblad, but I'll name it like this, Home Afrikaans, so it's easy for us to identify them. Let's talk about the first thing, and this is the limitation of Polylang. Where do I get this content from so that I can translate it? If I go to the English side, you will see we have pretty impressive page here. A lot of stuff going on here created with Blocksy and Stackable. And what I want is a mirror page of this in Afrikaans. I want it exactly the way it is here, but in Afrikaans. And that's pretty difficult actually. In Polylang Pro, if we jump on over to Pro, you will see that the ability to duplicate the page with that content and create a new page is not available in the free version, and for that you will have to get Polylang Pro. 99 euros for one site. I think pretty high compared to what others are offering, though this is a once-off fee, whereas other software like WPML will charge you annually, but not cheap, not cheap. And you'll have to make this consideration as I show you the differences in this series between Polylang, TranslatePRESS, WPML, and Weglot. This means that I need to duplicate the content myself, which takes me so many steps, and the only reason I would want to do that is because it is free. Go to Pages, and the way we will do this is to go first to the English page, click on Home, and with the latest editor settings within WordPress 6, we will have to grab the code of this page, which will make it easy for us to copy it. Close out, and then we select 3 dots and select this one, Code Editor. And this is going to give you all the code as long as it's done in WordPress Gutenberg Editor. Select it all, Control Command A, and then copy, Control Command C. Now I'll go back and I will select that Afrikaans page. So go to Home Afrikaans, select it. Same thing, go to the code editor, paste it, Control Command V, and let's switch back to the visual editor. And it'll take some time to think because it has to bring all that formatting in as you have designed it in the previous one, and you may run into some areas where it won't look that perfect. What we'll do is just change the text here. Digital products for your business. Delete vir jou besigheid. Vir jou besigheid. Delete. And update. Let's select here preview to see how this will look on the front end. Preview, preview, a new tab. And this immediately takes us into the Afrikaans one. You can see it says here Home Afrikaans. And now if I go click on the English one again, it will take me to the English one. Afrikaans and English. And all I need to do now within the WordPress editor on that page that I've copied is to just go through all of these and translate them. And in a zap, you have a translated page. Great. But here is the one thing that's going to catch you off guard if you didn't think ahead. What if I go ahead and add a new block to the English version, which is my standard base where I come from? I add a new block here. That block is not going to appear automatically also on the Afrikaans one. So now it becomes quite tricky. How do I get that on the Afrikaans one? How do I copy that? Or do I just let it go? And this is for websites where you constantly make updates on one site. Polylang is not a favorable application for that. I remember the first time I used Polylang, and that's why I didn't have problems with it, is that we weren't creating mirror pages. we were creating a website in English, and then we were creating one in Chinese, in Mandarin. The content on the Mandarin pages were completely differently presented than those on the one of the English version. So all Polylang did was to enable this switching content and page management system for the languages that we were working with. That is the most important thing I want you to remember, the shortcoming of Polylang. Number one, you will have to go and manually copy the pages from your original language to the target language. Number two, then you have to go into that page. For example, this one is Afrikaans. Go into the editor and make those changes. Number three, if you make changes in the original language, like add a new block, change an image, it's not going to automatically synchronize with the Afrikaans one. If you then want that in there, you will have to go save that block. Or if you're working in a page builder like Elementor, Brizy, you will have to go save that section as a template and then bring it in the Afrikaans one and then make those changes again. In the Pro version, as I have shown you, you do get the option to duplicate. Once you make changes though to the original page and you duplicate it, you lose everything that you've already duplicated. Then you have to do the translation again. That means what? That means that you're going to use this, like I've mentioned before, on sites that are not mirror sites. Or two, you're going to use it on one-pagers or very simple sites where you just want to do a quick translation and probably never touch that website again. Yes, there are websites out there that haven't been updated in 10 plus years. It's like a yellow page website. If that is for you, then Polylang free, definitely the way to go. So the great thing about Polylang, and let's jump back into WordPress so we can understand how it works and what makes it so great, is that you have these options here to manage the pages. You can create these pages, you can link them so that Polylang will tell you my About page is connected to the About page in Afrikaans. I know my About page doesn't have a translation because there is a plus, and a plus means it needs a translation. I'll click on the plus within the pages view, and then it will open a new page, and I will call it About-Afrikaans, and then I will publish it. In the sidebar on the right, you will see that there is a language little toggle here, and it will tell you the current language is Afrikaans, and the translation it is connected to is the About one. So we know that. Again, there is no content here. So we have to go to the About page, copy the code like I showed you earlier, and come and paste it here. If we go back into the back end, you will note now that there are these two little pencils that appear, About and About Afrikaans. Let's do the same for blog and the others. So you can go through how to create these pages, blog Afrikaans, make that a dash. And let's do one more. And then we go look at how it has changed for the header on the front end. Contact, we call this one Contact Afrikaans. Let's go to WordPress again. So the only pages is these privacy policy, the services. Services, this page is the only one we don't have a translation for. We've set up pages to reflect these guys. No content though. The only one that had the content was the home page. We go to the front end, which will take us to the English one. You can see this is our normal site. And when I click on Afrikaans, it's going to give me only this one because we haven't gone and set those pages to our menu. Let's go back into the menu. Appearance, menus. Make sure it's the menu Afrikaans. Go to pages. And here I will look for the Afrikaans, blog, and About. Add them. Drag About up here. And then next will be the blog. And then contact. And let's change the languages. I will deactivate, hide the current language. So when the page is in Afrikaans, it won't give me the Afrikaans option. Save. Go to front end. We select Afrikaans, and you will see that I have all of my pages in Afrikaans, plus more, and this time only the English version will appear here because I have told Polylang that when I'm in Afrikaans, you don't need to show me the Afrikaans option. I'm already in Afrikaans. I select English, it takes me back. The other place that Polylang is also going to help you is with taxonomies. When you go to your posts and you go to categories, you also have the option to create for these categories a translated version. So for agency, you can say besigheid. And this is the way you will set up your blog posts and make sure that your categories are also translated. That brings us to the end of this video. Am I critical of Polylang? I don't think so. I do think you have to be very clear what it is you want to achieve in terms of translating your site and the amount of work it's going to take. Polylang can be a great tool to help you create that switch from one version to another version. If you have English on the one hand and French on the other hand, easily switch between the two. What Polylang is not good at is to create the content duplication between the English and the French version. And the third thing that Polylang doesn't do is synchronize changes you make to one page. So if your original page in English had a purple background and you change it to orange, your French page will still display the purple background. It's not going to draw those changes that you've made. You will need to go and update them manually. That means Polylang is great for simple sites that don't need regular updates, or for websites where the two languages aren't mirror pages and contains different kind of content. In terms of its language switcher, one of the best I've worked with on the market, really easy to use. Create a second menu for your target language and then drop it in there, set your pages and set how you want the language switcher to appear. I'm extremely interested to know if you have websites currently made in Polylang, because 700,000 users out there. Who are you guys? Share your website in the comments below. If you're too shy to do that, go to w4b.io. That's also in the link below. And drop me a line, share your website so I can see what you've done, and let me know what you like about Polylang, what you would like to see differently, and also what kind of translation tools you prefer to use when working with WordPress. We covered TranslatePRESS, WPML, and also Weglot. There are new ones coming all the time. Which ones do you prefer, and what do you think is the most convenient one to use?